Now, what's going on, YouTube? As we all know, it's been an ongoing beef between 50 Cent, Jim Jones, and Maino. Now, with 50 Cent and Jim Jones, they've been beefing. We actually seen 50 Cent link up with Cameron and laugh at Jim Jones about how Jim Jones tricked himself out his own spot in Dipset and going down in the Hall of Fame as one of the biggest groups in history in rap. He actually tricked himself out his own spot. Now we actually have 50 Cent and Maino going back and forth because on their podcast with Jim Jones, Maino, Fabulous, and Dave East, they actually mentioned 50 Cent's documentary or just documentaries in general and made it seem like it was corny to make a documentary about anybody, really talking about 50 Cent and Diddy, but they didn't really want to say 50's name. 50 peeped that. You already know 50 went nuclear on him. 50 went against the, like, he took it all the way as far as he could take it. He actually a couple of days ago said that Maino and Jim Jones are squatters. They're squatting in the New York residency, the New York space that they are actually occupying, and they haven't paid rent. He said that they were maybe over $200,000 behind rent. Now, it's actually hit another boiling point because 50 Cent actually got in touch with the landlord. Yeah, don't play with 50. He actually got in touch with the landlord to then actually tell us the truth about how much they actually owe and how Maino is actually lying this whole time, saying that he doesn't owe. And, you know, if somebody wants to buy some of the rights to the podcast, they would have to pay him for it. Well, actually, 50's coming with more receipts saying actually he doesn't have to talk to Maino because Maino doesn't own all of his podcasts. Let's get into this breakdown. I'm going to catch y'all at the end with my actual thoughts because I actually haven't seen this yet. I ain't going to hold y'all for too long. Let's get it, y'all. This is crazy.
Oh, no, you guys. This is downright evil. He can't keep getting away with this, you guys. How does 50 Cent have so much connection to everybody? The man doesn't even live in New York City anymore. How does he keep doing this every single time? Now, moving forward, this is about to get real interesting, you guys. Y'all remember a couple days ago when 50 Cent called Jim Jones, Maino, Fab, and also Dave East squatters? And He also called them bums that owed $250K in rent. That was a very specific amount that only somebody that's involved in their business would know how much they actually owed in rent. Now, 50 Cent then went on to say that he's working on buying their podcast building and also 50% of their podcast. This was a very bold claim that came out of nowhere. We know 50 Cent has the money to do so, but how the hell does he even know who to contact in order to buy their podcast space and also 50% of their podcast? I mean, maybe he might know the owners of the company that distributes the podcast, but how's he gonna buy the podcast building? That makes no sense. Well, turns out, you guys, plot twist. The fucking landlord has been working with 50 Cent this whole time. And you guys will not believe this. According to the landlord, not only does he own the podcast building, but he owns 50% of their podcast business. Now, yesterday, 50 Cent put out this message saying, yo, so Jim wired the $200K over. Okay, cool. He may turn out to be a good tenant after all. Then he goes on to say a name that alludes to being Jim Jones' landlord. He said, Samuel, if you ever need me to make them pay, just give me a ring. I'm here. Now, people thought 50 Cent was bluffing. People thought he was trolling. Well, this morning, 50 Cent put out a voicemail of Samuel, Jim Jones' landlord that owns the building, and apparently the man owns 50% of their podcast company. Here's what he said.
I want to rent it. And I said, okay, fine. Right? He's been saying this for since October. And so he keeps trying to build it, but he won't sign the lease. He's like, I don't like these terms. I want 6 months of build out and ridiculous bullshit. We also have a partnership agreement where half of what he's building now, his media, belongs to us. But he won't tell us how much he's making and doing all these things. So half of the content he's creating, if you want to buy that too, I'll sell you half the company. He's not a business. He's insane. To me, it's worth very little to nothing. But if it works out for you, I just throw that in as a sweetener. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is he signed a lease with me. Right now he owes, I'm going to say it in a short way, at least $80,000, if not $180,000. The monthly rent on the old lease.
This is actually insane, you guys. You know how much your landlord has to hate you for this to happen? So much so that he's talking to your op about selling your company and also.
And this is crazy because he said, I'll throw the podcast in as a sweetener. Like, what? So he looks at your podcast as a sweetener. Like, it's just, I'll throw it in as a sweetener. Like, this is crazy. I'm going to give y'all my breakdown at the end of this. This is crazy, man.
The building that you record in, that means Jim Jones and his landlord have not been getting along for a very long time for him to get to this point. That's why 50 Cent has been feeling so confident in knowing their business and also threatening to buy it. Their fucking landlord does not even want them in the building anymore. Now, I'm not even sure what kind of business deal that you would make where your landlord owns 50% of your company. If that is actually true, you guys, that to me seems like bad business all around. 50 Cent also sent him a warning. He told him, I don't know why these people start with me. If I wasn't me, I would leave me alone. Get your business together, guys. Now, as far as MAINO and Jim Jones, these guys do not seem concerned at all. MAINO told TMZ, yo, if 50 Cent wants to buy half the podcast, he has to go through me. I own it.
I have to ask you, you know, I know 50's been saying, he's coming for everybody. Everybody has jokes. He's coming for everyone.
Right.
And he said that he wants to buy into your podcast. Take us through that. And, I'm assuming, that must have been kind of good press for you.
Well, I'm going to say this, man. Beefing with 50 is good business. Numbers is up, podcast is up, engagement is up. Beefing with 50, I wish I would have known this a long time ago. We could go a couple more rounds.
No way.
100%. Yeah.
Were you surprised to see that, or?
I mean, yeah, because it wasn't something that I was normally practicing. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't about, having an issue with anybody. But since we got a podcast, let's rap about it. It's good for business. But he said he wanted to buy half the podcast. Now, I'm saying if you want to buy half the podcast, I'm the person you need to see about that. I'm the guy you got to see about that.
I mean, do you think he was being facetious or was he?
He said he don't cap. So I should be receiving a phone call, right, saying, yo, what's up with this podcast? Because I'm the guy. If you want to buy half the podcast, listen, I'm the guy.
Right. I mean, we just saw Joe and Jada. We just saw Breakfast Club on Netflix.
What did I just tell you? Beefing with 50, beefing with Curtis is good business.
Oh, my goodness.
That's it.
Well, what do you think is next for you guys? Do you plan on having an actual sit down with him? Possibly.
I'm not planning nothing in that area. I'm just going by based off of what was said.
Correct.
All right. So if we going by what is said, and the brothers is not capping, I'm saying okay. If you can't buy it from nobody else but over here. Right. So if you saying you making these bold statements, then my phone should be ringing.
A couple hours ago, these guys had a Christmas party at their podcast space. MAINO and Jim Jones had a laugh at 50 Cent calling them squatters.
Capo, we the motherfucking squatters, nigga. Yeah, we out here squatting.
So, very, very interesting development, you guys. If you're the landlord, you gotta know people are looking at you crazy. I'm not even sure as a landlord if it's legal to disclose your tenant's financial information. If I couldn't pay my rent one month and my landlord is out here telling my ops about it, I'd be pissed. So if you're Jim Jones and MAINO, what's your next move? You can't really move right now because you're just now starting to.
I'll say this. Shout out Chig, Smooth. It's your boy Jet Ski G. Let me give y'all my breakdown on this real quick. Now, the landlord can sit here and talk about everything because he's talking about actually selling the prospective property or the lease, or he's like maybe leasing it to 50 some type of way. So they're talking business and he's talking about the tenant that's in there. Like if you were selling an apartment building, but you got certain tenants in there that ain't paying rent, you got to tell the person who's interested in buying the apartment building about those tenants. He's about to buy it. And also, MAINO's saying this is good for business. It hasn't been good for business for anybody to beef with 50 Cent. The only person, I can't even say it's been good for business for the game. It was good at first, but like, look at his career now. It hasn't been good for anybody, even people that's in G Unit. It hasn't been good for them. Now, if I was MAINO, I would act the same way because like we both grown men. But at the same time, saying it's good for business, history says it hasn't been good for business anyways. You got Marlon Wayans basically copping pleas and basically saying sorry. This isn't good for business. And also we got Maino, who does play internet games, because just last month I uncovered that he was just partying with DJ Academics, then he turned around and dissed DJ Academics. What's going on with that? And we also see Maino dapping up Troy Ave at the fight last night. What's going on with that? So Maino plays internet games, and him and Jim Jones, they be capping. So when I'm sitting back looking at it, y'all do owe this. In my opinion, they do owe this money in rent. And people were saying, how come the landlord is saying between $80,000 and $180,000? The reason why the landlord is saying that is because the landlord owns 50% of the podcast, and they're not telling him how much the podcast is actually making. So they may owe $80,000 in rent since October, but he doesn't know how much the podcast is making, so they might owe an extra $100,000. So he has to guesstimate it because they're not telling him how much the podcast is making, and he owns 50% of the podcast. And there's another part of this where I'm saying, like, yo, Jim Jones and Maino, these dudes are like 50. Why are y'all still making bad deals like this? Why would your landlord own 50% of your podcast? Like, are you insane? And this also makes me think that these dudes moved in without paying any type of rent or anything. They just signed a deal and signed away their podcast and started making their podcast. And this is crazy because Jim Jones and Maino, they name been drugged through the mill. They name been a little funny out here. Dave East, 9 times out of 10, his career really isn't going to get any bigger than it is. And I like Dave East's music. But Fabulous, you actually were looked at as somebody who was still a little cool. The headband in 2025, like he had like a regular headband, was crazy. And I'm hearing you had anklets on and stuff like that. And now you're a part of a crew who's not paying their rent. Fabulous looking crazy out here. Like, that wasn't for Fab. You cool. Like, you dress like somebody who not from New York. You dress like you cool. You get what I'm saying? And now it got you looking crazy out here. So y'all dropping in the comments, Fab, like, he has gotten their landlord involved, and now he's in talks to actually buy the podcast. But if he buys this podcast, y'all, he's going to go after the money in the back rent. So 50 is actually looking forward to probably treating these dudes the same way he treats Tierra Marie. Like, y'all owe me money. I'm about to evict y'all. Like, what? Getting evicted is crazy. Like, make sure y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. This is developing fast. Like, life comes at you fast, man. It's your boy Jet Ski G. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. Pay y'all rent, man. It's cold outside. I'm out.